Good morning, it's time for Coffee Talk. I've got my coffee, I have my jelly cake, the last of it, the last sad remains of the jelly cake from Schumann's Bakery. I think it's in Alexandria, Virginia. Look them up. If you like jelly cake, they make some of the best. Kind of a family tradition for us. Hey, Christmas and the holidays are coming to an end. We are just about done. All we've got left between us and the new year is New Year's Eve and a little bit more drinking and partying. Oh my gosh, very tired at this point. But it's been a great season. I've enjoyed it. Been a busy year, so we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. You can see right here that I have my favorite tank of 2018, at least according to Wargaming. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll go over some news, talk about the missions and specials, good stuff like that, and then a few subjects du jour. Wargaming's latest step on our own stuff moment. Not a huge big deal, but just another passing interesting thing to comment on that continues to happen, unfortunately. And we will get going from there. Grab your coffee. You don't have jelly cake, so here, have some of mine. Let's get going. Not a whole lot to report on the channel itself. Just chugging along. You can see I've got my credits up to 21 million, so I've been running the personal reserves using the bonus from the festive atmosphere and cranking up the silver so it's sitting there. I also took advantage of the XP conversion. You can see I've got a chunk of free XP, probably about the most I've ever had, to be quite honest. Used some gold because of the great gold value of all those kits, or all those, not kits, but boxes, the large boxes there. What I want you guys to do is let me know what tank you want me to play. I'm really just sort of goofing around with premiums, but preferably a tech tree, but it can be a premium. Tier 5 and above, a tank you want me to do a review on. I'll talk about why I'm going to do that in just a minute, but I want to concentrate on whatever that tank is. And if there are several, I'll put them in queue, or maybe play a couple at a time. Kick out a couple reviews if I haven't reviewed those tanks. So who got their battle report? A battle report was sent out by Wargaming via email. So I got mine. It was kind of interesting. I got to put my eyes on. All right, old guy. We'll talk about old guys in just a minute as well. My favorite tank, as I mentioned earlier, is the T50. I won't even try to say it. The T50 TP thing. This thing. Well, sort of. Not really my favorite tank, but it was the one that I ground from tier 9 up to tier 10 from stock. So I played it the most, I guess, is what they did there. What else? Siegfried Line is my most played map. My most played map. Well, that's kind of that's a random stat. For whatever reason, I got Siegfried Line this year more than any other map. Favorite class is heavy tank. That surprised me a little bit. I think that has to do with the grind for the poles. I played a lot less this year than I probably have in many years. Only 4,000 battles, 4,200? 4,343 battles, if you consider 70,000 battles total, or 77,000 battles total, and I've been playing about 7 years. It's averaging, 11,000 or so math in public a year, and I only did 4,000 this year. So quite a few less battles right there. So heavy tank 1, because I've ground a heavy tank line. I might have actually ground 2 now that I think about it, but I don't remember what all came out this year. And when I play a premium, it's likely to be heavy, although I play a lot of scouts. So I'm thinking light tanks is pretty close behind to favorite class. And I wouldn't necessarily call it my favorite class. This is a pure numbers thing. I enjoy the scouts more. Minutes played, a lot. I'm going to leave that one alone. Comes out to about 15 days. Enemies killed, 5,615. Achievements earned, 58. Now here's some fun ones. Falling. This is under unusual deaths. Falling, 85. I thought that would be a lot more. Now, this is actually interesting. Fuel exploded, 285. Ammo bay destroyed, 2. Turret detached, 25. When we have a turret blow up, or we get one shot, things like that, most people go, ooh, I was ammo racked. And you get the little ammo rack symbol too. But I think that a lot of times when you actually explode, it's a fuel explosion. Obviously, via those numbers, at least for me, that's much more likely than an ammo bay. And since I only had 2 ammo bays total, and I'm pretty sure I've been blowed up from whatever hit points I was to 0 with one shot more than twice, appears to be 285 times, then it is more likely to be your fuel bay or your fuel tank. I thought that was kind of interesting. Did not realize that. Now let's look a little look back on the channel on the analytics. All right, so here's my analytics page on YouTube. It shows how the year has gone. You can see the total watch time, average view duration. Come down here, we added 420 subscribers, so about twice, a little bit over twice actually what I had at the start of the year. So I'm up to 7 something. I'm sure it's on there somewhere and I can't see it. Videos and playlists, I've added 337. Now that's that's videos in playlists. I haven't been updating my playlist. I do need to do that. Shares, comments, 36 dislikes. What the? 7,118 likes. Come down here, and I said we'd talk about this. It appears my most popular stuff are tank reviews, but I think that pulls in more people that aren't subscribers than just the regular videos do. So while you guys who watch this will watch pretty much all the videos, or at least part of all the videos since you're subscribers, the man off the street viewer is more interested when I post a review, say on the forums or on Reddit. They're more interested in this stuff than just my regular videos. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That's kind of why then I want to do a few more reviews and see if I can't generate more interest in the channel. Come down here for some quick analytics. Looks like you're mostly male. Bears, I have one female viewer at least. Playback locations are mostly off the YouTube page. Some embedded stuff, this will be me putting videos on Reddit or on the official forums more than likely. YouTube other, I don't know what that is. And then channel page. Traffic sources, okay, yeah, browser, the page. Suggested videos are a little bit higher than I would have thought, so that's a good thing. It means those little suggestions when you're watching says, hey, here's another video by that dopey Guido guy. Go ahead and take a look at it right there. You can also see that my revenue's gone down $8.25. Actually, it flatlined. Why? Because I was a partner at the beginning of the year, then they changed the rules, and I'm no longer a partner, so that they owe me $8.25. Never going to get rich off of this bad boy. All right, let's go. There's a couple of things I want to look at. There we go. Subscribers. Actually, where is it? Where is it? Demographics. That was the one. So here we go. Demographics. Check it out. The majority of you are 45 to 54. No surprise. That's right in the heart of where I am. And then 55 to 64. A few at the 35 to 44. And it really drops off into the younger kids who don't want to watch the old guy drink coffee and talk about tanks. That actually matches largely the demographics of the game. So it's no real surprise. Interestingly, if you look at this, 45 to 54-year-olds have 59% of the watch time. So despite some of these being larger chunks, and then 31% for YouTube, and then everybody else a lot less, and that really matches what's going on right there with the demographics. And then let's go look at comments, because I thought this one was good. Let's see. Oh, I couldn't find it. Well, the most comments is 47. There's something else in here that we got likes and dislikes. It's its own section. I was looking through this, and most of the dislikes come on reviews. They tend to have more people watching them, so you're going to have a larger audience. So someone in there is not going to like what's on there. More people you deal with, the more negative comments you have. That's just how it goes. As long as the percentage of the negative comments don't spike, you're probably in good shape. The 705 had 2 dislikes. I did something wrong there. No, it's all good. The other ones that I get are like the rant videos. I'll often get a dislike or 2 on those. And coffee talks, and especially if I start talking about artillery. And I've noticed this in the past. If I make any kind of real negative comments about artillery, then I definitely will pick up a dislike or 2 on that video. Not definitely, but I am much more likely to pick up a negative comment on that video. So just a quick look at the analytics for the channel. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's been a good year. I mean, to double my subscribers in 1 year is very good. A lot of it has to do with the CC program. Even though I went through the 2 months of rough getting videos out kind of time, you guys stuck with me and we grew the channel, so that is really cool. My goal this year is to get to 1,000 subscribers. I have the views and the time watched I need to be a partner again, but if I can get to 1,000 subscribers and I've met all 3 of the criteria, and I'll be a partner again and I can get my $8.25. All right, let's move on. All right, let's shill. I got to earn my money, all that money that Wargaming gives me for shilling. You know the checks that just roll in. Let's do it. All right, so the premium shop is still full of these. You know what those are. We're not going to go over it. Oh boy, the Carnarvon AX and the 1357 are both specials right now. We're not going to dive deep into that, but the Carnarvon is on sale for a while, and it is the item that they decided to extend over the Advent, or maybe it was planned, I don't know. This thing then popped up also, the 1357, which extended across the rest of Advent from the 25th to the 1st. Looks like 2 days left on both of those. Those are both good tanks. So divorce the issue of why they're there from the reality of them being pretty good premium tanks. This one's a lot of fun. It is one of my favorite tanks, unlike the Wargaming Battle Report that says my favorite tank is the Polish Heavy Tier 9 that I had to grind miserably through from stock. This one actually is one of my favorite tanks in the game, so highly recommended if you're a scout player. Nothing really to mention on gold, especially if it won't come up. Slowly but slowly. This is something I couldn't do a couple weeks ago, and I didn't have it a week ago, and I did not have my internet, because that would have taken about 5-10 minutes. Nothing to mention there. We go over to vehicles, take a look at that. Premium account. Again, if you're looking for premium account or gold right now, the gift boxes are the way to go. Period. Several versions of the Carnarvon. The T2065 is in the shop. That's also a good premium heavy. We're going to look a little bit at the analytics, but I'm just going to foreshadow here. Did you know there's only 13 Tech Tree heavy tanks and 40-something total heavy tanks in the game? The rest being obviously premium. That's an interesting fact. 1357, the VK4503 is dropped in there. The Liberté, the Firefly, that's probably one of the only tanks out there that I would be sort of interested in. More Firefly, Liberté, T14 is on sale, so nothing else really to add in there. You can get the Carnarvon, just the tank, but you have to dig down to here, even though the bloody 3 that are more expensive are here. Why they don't just put them in a row, I don't understand. Now, it's a bit of a formatting thing because you got a wide one and 2 small cards there. So that's all that fits on the page. That there is that to deal with. But it seems like there would be a way to put all the same stuff together. And the problem is it looks cheesy, because in order to just find the tank with all the other garbage attached to it, you got to dig down to the bottom and search for it. And then that immediately gets the conspiracy and the, oh, they're just trying to psychologically get me stuff coming out. To some extent, it's true, because that's how it's done. You know what I mean? The easy things to find are right there. The other one you have to dig for. I mean, it's a valid critique for people who have that critique, and I do to some extent. Now, it's nothing obviously to go crazy about, but still, it is a small annoyance that just doesn't need to be there. It's that little pebble that's in your shoe, right? It's not stopping you from going anywhere or doing anything. Most time it's not really stopping you from the overall enjoyment of your walk or what you're doing, but it's that little, that little pebble that just, you're like, why is the little pebble in my shoe? Why can't the little pebble just get out of my shoe, and this is all here, and I don't have to dig into my shoe for the little pebble to get it out? All right, let's move on. Well, we've got a lot of missions still going on. New Year's Bustle is going until the 14th. So these are the ways you get the small gift boxes from Wargaming. Let's digress just for a moment here. The gift box thing has been a controversy. I would say a vast majority of people really like it. I like it. I've said so multiple times. Some people don't. But when I look at these things that Wargaming does, I often wonder why they don't just take another step or two and make it really good. And by really good, I don't mean give away the farm and hand everybody every premium tank in the game. That's not the point at all. But why would you not take some of those small boxes, a very tiny small percentage, and have them have some of the things that the big boxes have, so that in game, when people are playing your free-to-play game that in theory anyone can play and is completely accessible, why not let them win a premium, a small tier, a tier 5, tier 2 even, maybe a little bit of gold, 25 gold, 10 gold, I don't know, out of one of the small boxes. A 10 gold is enough to demount some equipment. If you have a very small percentage of the small boxes had little bits of gold in it, bonds, things like that, that would make it much more interesting. And oh, by the way, would drive play, because people would then have to play the game instead of pay the money to get that stuff. And I don't understand why Wargaming doesn't take that next step in a lot of these programs and specials that they do. I don't know if it's because they're not allowed to do it because hey, we're not going to give gold to the common player or good stuff to the common player. We need to really force the financial monetary side of it. Or if it's just a lack of kind of in-depth thinking about, hey, how do we generate game time? How do we make players happy, give them a good deal, but not sell the farm in the process? And it seems like it's either all over here on super monetization or all over here on minimization of what they're giving. Now, there are lots of specials in this game, and there are certain things that you get a lot of. Reserves and kits, right? We get kits and consumables and reserves over here on the free-to-play side all the time, but nothing else really. And then if we're buying stuff, we get all the premiums and gold and stuff over here. Never do those two sort of merge or come a little bit closer together where maybe these guys get a little bit of that stuff, monetization stuff, and maybe the monetization stuff, has a little less of that and a little more of the free-to-play stuff. Just thinking out loud right there. All right, so New Year's Bustle, that was a real sidebar. You can get all those kits and whatnot. The Kronwagen Noggin is on special. Someone's going to correct me on how to say it. How can I say it the worst? Kronwagen, yeah. down in the south, it'd be the Kronwagen. That was a weird accent. That wasn't even Southern. I can't do Southern accent. I lived here a long time. Still can't do it. I can't do it. All right. See, even that was bad. That was like Forrest Gump, but he's Southern, so that was close, right? We've taken another exit off the highway, and now we're somewhere else. Tournament missions, tank masteries are going on. Let's see. Let's get down to the rest of this stuff. What else is happening? Play your class right. Oh, XP Fever. That was this weekend. And it goes to, I think, only January 1st, but you can't see it. You're not allowed to see the whole thing. I have a huge resolution monitor here, and you can't even fit the date on it? What? And how come I can't? There it is. Wait a minute. Oh no, that just made it go away. It fits down here. Why can't you make it fit up here? December 20. Oh, because December, there's one extra line, one extra digit, 26. See, if it was December 1st, then we'd have got it. But for whatever reason, they haven't mech'd enough space here in the text to, holy cow. All right, do I have to click on this box to do it? There it is, January 1st. Fellas, attention to detail. I've brought this up multiple times. None of them listen to my channel. All right, why would they? Let's see, XP Fever. So that's good. Make sure that when you finish it, it is with the tank you want the XP to go to. You can see that I haven't played a whole bunch, but 50 grand? Holy cow, 15 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand? If you are grinding a line, that is a great way to do it. Play your tank class right. Goes to January 1st. This has been going on for a while, so we'll see if it regenerates next month. It's been month to month. It's pretty much, I don't know how many months it's been going. 2, maybe 3, maybe more, but it's a good one. Lots of little goodies right there, so watch for that to regenerate. Battle of the Bulge was going on. I finished that a while ago. You end up with some flags and a garage slot, which is good. Especially for free-to-play, garage slots are not that easy to come by. That's one of the premium things that sometimes bleeds into the freemium prize packages. They do give garage slots away in the freemium style of missions, so I will give them credit to that one. On that one, other missions, earn your loot. This was just battle 5 times. I'm sure most of you have done that, so you should have got a bunch of consumables. That was a really nice one right there. Pretty easy to do as well. All right, guys, let's move on. Grab your coffee. I'm gonna have a jelly cake here, and we'll see what's next on the docket. Jelly cake is some good stuff, man. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Did you have to eat the whole thing? Yes, I did. I did have to eat the whole thing. Advent calendar day 24. As you recall, the Advent days were going along. New tank each day for 24 days. All right, 1st of December, I think, is when it started. Yeah, there you go. It's right up there. 1st of December. Oh, you'd have to be looking at that. Jeez, guys, come on. Get your stuff together. I'm not even going to go back and edit that. I'm just going to leave it. I want you to know, Guido's just a real human being trying to get along, trying to live his best life, whatever that means. Okay, it started on the 1st. It went to the 24th. It was a tank every day, and they sold the tanks for gold as well, which is really good. Good on you, Wargaming. That was cool. A little bit cheesy because you couldn't buy the gift boxes until about halfway through, where people got a bunch of gold where they could then use it on tanks, so they missed the first 11 or whatever it was, where they could have had a chunk of gold from the gift boxes. But all right, whatever. That's neither here nor there. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. When we got to the 24th, there was a little bit of a hint beforehand sent out by Wargaming that said, all right, there's going to be, we got a special thing for the 24th. They hyped it a little bit. It wasn't crazy hype, and it was a couple offhand comments on their video. But everyone sort of got the idea that, hey, the 24th tank is going to be a cool tank, a new tank, or a cool tank, or a surprise. Well, surprise, it was the Carnarvon AX, and it was not for gold. Surprise! As you recall, this was a tank you could win on a marathon a while back. I don't know if it's been sold since then. That's not really the point. It's a good tank. It's one of their newer premiums. It wasn't exactly a surprise, but what the surprise was you can't buy it for gold. And that really bent a lot of people. For good reason. You just had a whole event of 23 tanks that you sold on your Advent calendar, and every single one of them, actually there was a day there was premium, not a tank. So there was at least one day it wasn't a tank. But anyway, I wonder, was the premium for gold? I can't remember. Anyway, the tanks were all able to be bought for money or gold. And then on the 24th day, inexplicably, and for no reason, it's not for gold. So yeah, you sort of hype it. You say, hey, we got something special. Okay, the Carnarvon, is it special? I don't know. It's more special than some, and that's fine. I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about what tank it was. It could have been the Turan. But it's not for gold. It did not follow the exact same formula. The whole event was one formula and then changed up on the 24th. And the optics of it are terrible. It is a brick dropped on your foot by yourself that you did not have to do. And it looks greedy. That's what it looks like. Whether it's perfectly legit, whether there was a blurb buried somewhere on a forum or on your page, doesn't matter. Because the problem is the problem. And the problem is that people think it looks greedy and cheesy. Now let me touch on greed. I don't care that much about that. Greed is what makes the world go round. It's part of incentive. It's why individuals do things, not because they're evil masterminds of greed. It's because they want to get something for themselves, something from their labor. So without getting too far into social, economic, political stuff. So I'm not bashing Wargaming and their monetization guys because they're greedy, evil CEO guys and they must be destroyed. That's not my point. It's a small one-day event and stretched into more. We'll get to that in a minute. That irritated people and did not need to. It just didn't need to. Just put it up for gold. That gold was bought somewhere. It may have been won, but the vast majority of it was bought already with money. Why do you care? It's another pixel tank. Now, I know why, because they do numbers and I figured it out. I got it. But I think that the negative feedback and the negative feedback loop from things like this continues to get bigger for you guys as you continue to do things like this. So, because we have a track record, and I say we because I'm not involved as a CC, but I'm closer connected than I was. I'm still over here. I'm not them, but I'm sort of kind of peeking over the fence, like, hey guys, what's going on over there? And then they close the door and I can't see in. But so we at that point see the complaints, and somebody, whether it was an employee who took it on themselves or maybe lower level management said, hey, let's fix this, here's what we're going to do. Whatever the reason is, some people sent in tickets, and those tickets were taken care of, and guys were given the tank for gold. I don't know, again, if that was one employee doing it or a couple or a general idea at the lower level, but at some point that got squashed and they stopped taking the tickets. So you have an issue that you didn't need to have, exacerbated by a process that was already known and going, the Advent process, changed completely at the last day. Then, when people complained, some people got satisfaction by getting the tank for gold, and then that got shut down, and now we've turned something that shouldn't ever have been anything into a big kerfuffle for no reason. And it wouldn't even really be worth mentioning other than maybe as a sidebar or something interesting if it wasn't something that happens again and again and again. That's the disappointing part to me, that somebody just doesn't go, you know what, we did it again. Here's the right thing to do. Put it up for gold. Just do it. That's fine. We'll advertise that. We'll make sure everybody knows, hey, sorry, it's up for gold. Our bad. We need to advertise that better next time. And if at the very beginning of this event they said every tank except the last one will be buyable for gold, then we would have known, wouldn't we? We would have known. It would have been irritating anyway, but at least at that point there's not really a leg to stand on. But then for it to happen, and then to let some people get tickets and get it for gold, and then to stop and not let other people, it's like, oh, my foot. Oh, my foot's still there. Let me shoot the other one. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Let's move on. All right, this last section is kind of a combo IS-3A update, and I was looking at the stats of some tanks. I was curious. It was generated a little bit about the end-of-year battle report that Wargaming put out. Let me digress slightly a little bit here. I wish they would improve their Hall of Fame stats page. I like that stuff. The CCs were talking about that in the chat in the Discord just the other day, about how we kind of enjoy the stats thing, seeing where we rack and stack, checking out other people and how well they play tanks and stuff like that. I would really like if Wargaming would make it more user-friendly, a la here we are on Noob Meter. And there's lots of places to do this on, and I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all of exactly what the stats are, but it's a pull from the API. It's a pretty good rack and stack of tanks, and I happen to be in the tier 8 heavy tanks. So just this website makes looking at all these stats much, much easier than the UI capability you have in game, which makes no sense to me. They own the API. It's their game. They should be pushing and generating the stats pages and the interest in that, because it's huge for them. And for the life of me, I don't understand. It's still in beta. You click on that thing. I'm not even going to go there, but it still shows in beta. I don't understand. It takes them forever to add new tanks. New tanks should immediately be in your Hall of Fame, fellas. The second the new tank shows up, all that should be generated and ready to go. And even if the first few days the stats are wonky because only X number of people are playing it, who cares? I cannot wrap my mind around why that thing has been left to languish. But it has. All right, so on to the heavy tanks thing. I counted this up, and I believe the number is 13 Tech Tree heavy tanks. And if you look at this, we have 43 heavy tanks in the game at tier 8. All the rest of them being premium, or at least the vast majority. At least one of them, I don't think, this auto test, is the IS-3 Auto, a test version. You can see that it wasn't very many battles. I'm not really sure exactly what was going on with that. So there's one or two of those in there that I'm not really sure. Maybe just one. There may have been another one I dug in here. I did not recognize it. But in any event, that one's numbers on there, so it can be disregarded. But that being said, best win rate recent, so that's what it's sorted by, or somebody fixed me on that once. It's not sorted by, it's organized or whatever. I'm a stats god. IS-5, small sample size. I'm at least smart enough about it to know that. Also, these are owned by very good players. So it rolls around with a 55.9% win rate recent. And that's what I've got this. I'm going to call it sorted, even if I'm wrong. I don't care. Object 252, though, comes in second at a hefty 55.8 with 54,000 battles, followed by the IS-3A at 55.3. And then the Defender, which is a 252U at 55.2. All those are right there grouped together. And that's a lot of battles. So clearly, those three are overperforming. The IS-3 is no more overperforming than a tank that's been in the game for years, the Defender and the 252U. Clearly an issue, those tanks, as far as being well outside of the norm on win rate. But I would not say that the IS-3A is the doom of Valeria and it's going to end the game. It is just another in a long series of overpowered, in class, I will call it slightly overpowered. Remember, the reasons I say that is the overpowered nature of Tier 8 premium heavies are buried in the fact that they live in a 357 meta, and the fact that there are so many tanks in the game that you just don't see 8, 10 of them running around in each battle. But they are clearly overperforming. The numbers are there. It's hard to argue with that. They're overperforming compared to other tanks. But here's the other interesting part about this. Premium, get reward, right? And IS-5 is not a premium, it's a reward. But reward, premium, 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 premium. Guess what, fellas? The Summa is not far off of an object or an IS-3A. And nobody's running around with their hair on fire screaming the Summa is destroying the game. But it is clearly overperforming and has plenty of battles to back that up. The Mutant, overperforming. This is recently got a buff, by the way. Its overall is down at 52. These guys are overperforming in their overall supports that they've been that good since the beginning. Premium, premium, and holy cow, look at this. In the recents, the Carnarvon, and I've said this in the past, this thing got a super buff a while back, maybe 6 months. Could be as long as a year at this point, I don't remember. It got a super buff, which made it much, much better. In fact, it made it 2% better from what it was. Look at that. 51.3, which is right there in roughly the middle of things, slightly high, knocked up to 53.5%. This is a good tech tree heavy tank. It just is, especially in the way the game's played now with very strong turrets, lots of depression, hold down kind of fighting, campy style. Fantastic heavy tank. Premium, look at that. The second best, and the first best in overalls, by the way, tech tree heavy tank is the often maligned VK 100.01P. So one thing to remember about looking at these stats is people's opinions and thoughts on things are often not really the reality. In the case of the 252 Defender and IS-3, they are the reality. People think they're strong. They actually are performing well. The opinion on the Carnarvon and the 100.01 is poor in general, but they're actually good. They're actually good. So take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt. You got two opposite examples right there. Now, they're not, the Carnarvon and the 100.01 are not on the level, obviously, of these two. These three, which are a full 2% higher win rate. But the argument stands. KB5, premium, 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 tech tree. Now, if you go overall, it tells an even different story. Reward, whatever that thing is, reward or premium, that's a reward. Premium, 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 Geez, the 50T. The 50T is better than the first Tech Tree heavy tank. Chrysler 112s, Mutant, Premium. I'm like, oh, there it is. 22. The 22nd best heavy Tier 8 tank is the VK100.01 overall. And then the worst, guess what? Tiger 2 is near or on the bottom. There he is. He's at the bottom. This is going the other way. He's not number 1. He's number 1 of the worst. Let's how about recent? Let's see. Yeah, that's Tiger 2. Also Tiger 2. And overall, oh no, only the 65T is worst overall than the Tiger 2. Oh, by the way, one of the most iconic, recognizable tanks in the game. So, I thought that was some interesting stat stuff. Obviously, I'm not extrapolating that across the entire board, but Tier 8 is a crowded area for premiums, especially on the heavy side. Lots and lots and lots of Tier 8 heavy premiums. I bet you would find a similar thing if you went to the mediums, but we've run out of time. I'm going to eat my jelly cake and drink the last of my coffee. So let's get this thing wrapped up. Well, there she is, my favorite tank with the Christmas camo from last year. Make sure you get your Christmas camo from last year if you've got enough shards. Remember, you can go into the 2 collection books and go back to last year's collection books. Get the camo. I will say that the camo from this year is much better. It actually looks a lot better. This just looks like somebody went into Photoshop or into, what is the one I use that has a weird name? Anyway, I can't remember what it's called. But just threw some gift package patterns on it. The other ones look pretty good, the ones from this year, so good on them for that. That's pretty much all I've got, guys. A update or a look back, I guess. Not so much an update, a little bit of an update, and then a look back on the channel. Keep promoting it out there for me. I know there's a couple guys who've been throwing the URL around trying to get people, and the traffic has definitely increased. I'll try not to bash on artillery so much, that way I don't lose subscribers. We talked about a few things, sales and missions, got a little bit in depth on the Carnarvon AX shenanigans. I forgot to mention actually that then they added the 1357 out there and said, hey, here's another great deal. Too late, brother. People are already irritated. Still though, it is a good tank if you want one. 1357. And then I thought an interesting discussion on the stats of the Tier 8 premiums and heavies, and what is really OP and what really isn't OP. Definitely the IS-3A is a strong tank, but it's not any worse than the Defender or the 252U. That's all I got. I'm going to finish my coffee, hit up the rest of that jelly cake, get this edited and sent out, and we will see you next year.